Am I the asshole for not being friendly with my partner's daughters now that they've warmed up to me? I'm 42, dating Tim, 59, a widower. He's in banking, I'm a bartender. I know what it looks like. His two daughters thought the same thing, but his broke as a joke and I've got a trust fund, so actually no. His broke because his late wife got cancer. 3 times. He ran up 6 credit cards, second mortgage on the house, cashed out his retirement, everything and anything to get her the treatment she needed and then to get treatment enough to see both daughters married. His daughters live 6 hours drive away. We drove to them for Christmas last year and the year before. They ignored me, dragged Tim away when he tried to include me and prevented their husbands from making even small talk with me by talking over me. Year 1 Tim chastised them, they apologized, to him, not me, they blamed the pain of seeing their dad with a woman who wasn't their mum. Year 2, they did it again. This year I told Tim not again. He could go, I would never ask him not to see his daughters for Christmas but I'll stay here. Tim didn't love the idea because me going with him means we can share the responsibility of driving when his back starts to bother him. He hates to fly. His 2010 death trap is starting to go anyway, so I leased him a comfy luxury ride. My brother has a dealership. He called the girls, super excited that he'd be able to see them more often without having to worry about his back, who then blew up and accused him of spending their mother's money on a bull house and car to impress some bimbo bartender and didn't offer them a dime for their weddings. In the ensuing argument it came out that they assumed there had been a life insurance policy, nor did they have any idea about the credit card debt or the second mortgage that the house was underwater on or that Tim was looking at foreclosure and bankruptcy until he moved in with me. They did not realize it was my house, that he pays no bills save the water bill, man takes excessive showers, and shared groceries. Now the girls want my number. They are sorry I felt lonely at Christmas. They want to come visit and stay with us next year. Conveniently in summer, I live near a beach. I've told Tim absolutely not about giving out my number. I'm happy to be polite if they come to visit Tim, but we're not going to be friends. If they had talked to me for even 2 seconds they'd have understood. I am not shy about admitting the only thing I have ever contributed to my blessed financial state is not developing a crippling coke addiction like my cousin Danny did. Tim thinks I'm being too unforgiving. They would have warmed up to me eventually, but knowing how generous I am being with their father has made them warm up quicker. I maintain I don't care about now or later, they had their chance to not be catty brats over incorrect assumptions that I was taking advantage of him. Info: did your partner ever do anything to correct these assumptions, or was he keeping up the lie to save face? Yes and no. Yes, because I don't believe Tim had any idea the girls weren't aware that it's my house. I've heard him refer to it as my house to the girls. I also had heard him tell them I worked as a bartender for fun, that I don't need to work. No, because Tim is 1, prideful and 2, protective of them. He shielded them from what was going on behind the scenes so that they could spend as much time with their dying mother without being worried about him. I know he mentioned some things about the move helping him when he first told them he was moving in with me, but the argument was the first time he actually laid everything out to them in no uncertain terms about the house and the debt and cashed out 401ks. I'm probably giving him the benefit of the doubt because I love him, but I think he thought they would figure things out without him having to spell it out, and that their coldness to me was solely because I'm not their mum and they miss her so much. If he's prideful, it makes sense that he wouldn't correct them or intervene. Saying you bartend for fun doesn't necessarily imply that you have money. It could just as easily mean that your partner covers all the bills, so it's just a hobby you have. Calling it your house also doesn't mean he hasn't taken over the mortgage or is paying for everything else so you can afford it. Hell, they probably thought he bought you the house. I would be upset too. I'm going to go with a light everyone sucks here. Your partner mainly, for allowing them to believe you were siphoning off his resources when he could have easily had this conversation with them the moment this became an issue. The daughters for being cruel to you, although if they were receiving this information, it makes sense that they would be. Like you said, it looks a certain way. For them to know absolutely nothing about their dad's situation, he'd have to be lying or intentionally hiding some things from them. You, least of all, for failing to put yourself in their position and understanding that they may have been misled. You haven't been an asshole yet, but if that's what happened, you should try to forgive them. They seem very apologetic and you certainly don't owe them anything, but if you plan on remaining in this man's life you should accept their apologies and start working on building the relationship, even if it's very slow and distant. Otherwise you're going to put your partner in a position where he has to choose between you. And that would eventually make you an asshole too. Thank you, I was having a hard time seeing it from their perspective, but I am willing to admit you make good points. Especially if they had already made the assumption, and didn't have the context, then the things Tim said just fueled the assumption. Are they apologetic or are they cozying up to you now knowing you're the meal ticket, not their father? Even if you choose to forgive, I'd be maintaining a healthy cynicism about their intentions at least for a while. Yeah, they're upset because they thought there was life insurance money that should go towards their weddings, but instead he bought a car for himself and they twisted it to be that he bought it to impress his girlfriend. They don't sound concerned their dad is being taken advantage of, they sound entitled AF. Girlfriend is right to be wary. Yeah, ironic that all of a sudden they want to talk to OP because they know she has money. And a house by the beach, just more entitlement. Not the asshole. You don't owe them a damn thing. That being said, they are his kids, and you gotta consider that if you don't extend an olive branch, that means he will be pulled in the middle and eventually push will come to shove. Is that something you're comfortable with? You make a good point and I don't know. Right now I'm like, sure I can go back to doing my own Christmas with my cast of characters, did that for years before Tim and I got together. But what happens with birthdays? His 60th is coming up, that's a biggie. What happens when the girls have kids and he wants to go there more often? I asked Tim to move in with me so he'd have less stress in his life, not more. Don't let them come visit in the summer, they want free accommodations near a beach. That's a privilege that has to be earned after at least 2 to 3 years of treating you right.